When we think of basic decisions, we think of what we're going to wear or what to have for lunch. Should we take an umbrella or is a coat going to be okay? What we don't realise is how many decisions are made on a day-to-day basis. My name's Victoria, and today I'm going to be discussing how to make decisions easier by using your brain. Humans are estimated to make 35,000 choices per day, and while that does seem like a lot, think about it for a moment. You made a choice to click on this video, and a second choice to carry on watching to this point. What other decisions did you make? What about the decision to get up this morning? And what about decision to decide which sock to put on first, right or left? These are decisions that we might not think about, but our brain is such a wonderful thing and organizes itself to make these decisions so much easier for us. But what about the bigger decisions that are harder to shift and are not so automatic? How can we make them simpler? Let's take an example. Your friend invites you to a party. Do you go? Well, it might seem like a simple yes or no answer, but there's a lot to consider here. And this is really where brain comes in. When we talk about brain, we're not actually talking about what's inside your noggin, but we're talking about the words, the acronym brain, and how that can be used to make decision making easier. We have benefits. Consider what benefits there are for the choice you make. Risks. Assess the risks of what would come from the outcome of your choice. Alternatives. What alternatives are available to you? We've got instincts. What is your gut instinct saying for you to do? And finally, nothing. What if you simply did nothing at all? So let's think about that party again. And this time, we'll use it for this guy. We'll call him Joe. Well, in terms of benefits of going to this party, Joe has a fondness for cake. Absolutely loves it. He also knows it's going to be an entertaining party. And, Joe really likes cake. And these would be the benefits of going to that party and making that choice. So what about risks then for Joe? Well, when people think risks, they always think worst case scenario. But in reality, risks is just refer to the potential loss for a decision, the cost of making that choice. So for Joe, a risk or a downside would be there'll be a lot of dancing, and he doesn't really like dancing. He also would have to dress up, and he doesn't really like that either. Plus, parties are tiring, and overall, he's already tired today. So these would be the downsides of the decision, or making this choice to go to the party. So next, the alternatives. There is rarely only one choice when making everyday decision, but here is a stage where you start considering the options. So for Joe, obviously one decision is to go to that party, but he is also invited by a co-worker to go out to dinner, which means there's an alternative. And by thinking about and brainstorming those alternatives, you can get a bigger understanding of what's going on and what choice you're really making. Now we come to either the easiest or the hardest stage of decision making, depending on who you are, following your gut instinct. So for Joe, he'll take it literally. He's feeling really hungry. However, he's also feeling really tired. But when making decisions, it's important to make ones that's right for you. So trusting that gut instinct of whether you're comfortable with the decision you're making or whether it's making you feel sick somehow, this is really important, just being aware of how you're physically feeling when making this decision in order to know you've made the right choice. And finally, we come to just doing nothing, like thinking about the alternatives, and there's always another choice, and you don't even have to make an active choice like you would with alternatives. You can take the passive route and just do nothing. So think about it. If you were deciding what you had for breakfast, toast or fruit, well, you could just eat nothing. What is that going to be the effect on you? So obviously, if Joe does nothing, he'll probably go to bed. He might dream of his party or what he could have done, but it's a choice. So whenever we make decisions, we should always think of what would happen if we just did nothing at all. So when you're struggling from taking that job offer to what to wear, use this acronym. Use the brain as a way to consider what there is in this decision. Consider the benefits of the choice you're making. Consider the risks that could come from that choice. What other alternatives are there for you? What is your gut instinct actually telling you to do? And simply, what would happen if you do nothing? This is simply available to you as a tool to help make those decisions. Hopefully, what you take today from this is that brain is a tool to use for basic decision making, whether it's changing a career or simply deciding what to have breakfast. After all, the only person that can make these decisions that are right for you is you. But hopefully, this is a tool to make that job a little easier. Thank you for listening, and remember to always use your brain.